You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
He got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Joe Rogan didn't waste any time. The second the cameras started rolling, his voice boomed with anger, sharper than anyone expected. I just found out what Diddy did to Justin Bieber when he was just a kid, and I am absolutely furious. That opening line wasn't delivered quietly, it was delivered with rage. His audience sat frozen as Rogan, known for being direct, unleashed a monologue that made it clear he wasn't just upset, he was outraged. Rogan's tone was explosive as he laid out the facts. At just 15 years old, Bieber was invited into Diddy's world under the pretense of mentorship. But as Rogan explained, it quickly became clear that this wasn't mentorship. It was manipulation, power, and control. Rogan slammed his fist on the table, his voice rising. Who does that to a kid? Who has the nerve to strip away a teenager's freedom and call it guidance?
So many horrific accusations, though, involving young singers, children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama.
Jay-Z,
Everybody.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me.
He tore into the evidence stacked on his desk. Handwritten notes from Bieber revealed desperation. Contracts showed last-minute changes, granting Diddy temporary authority over the teenager's movements and living arrangements. Surveillance clips captured Bieber being shuffled down hallways in the middle of the night, his face etched with nervousness. Rogan's voice cracked, not from sadness this time, but from fury. "Look at this kid," he shouted. "He should have been at home with his family, not dragged around by a grown man who thought he owned him." The infamous 3:12 a.m. video was Rogan's breaking point. He described Bieber clutching his guitar, flanked by assistants, eyes darting like he was trapped. Rogan froze the frame for his audience, his face red with anger. This is a teenager being controlled like a pawn. And the industry cheered Diddy on while it happened. His tone thundered with disgust.
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious it is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
And then you have him come to audition for you, right?
Actually, with a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife.
You were all sitting in a room somewhere.
We were in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, "Are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing."
When all these pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big penis and people will come to those concerts? Or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of manager he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, "Yeah, show your cock or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, look, part of this is PR,
Hey,
man?
by the way, he does have a brain of his own.
Yeah, but were you shocked at the size of his penis?
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with his penis is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher, is somebody...
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts, man.
Rogan's fury extended beyond Diddy himself. He called out the executives who allowed it, the managers who stayed silent, and the fans who ignored the warning signs. Everybody saw the red flags. They were right there in front of us. And what did the industry do? They gave Diddy awards, partnerships, and praise. His anger boiled over as he shook his head, muttering that it was one of the most disgraceful failures he had ever witnessed. The podcast episode was 3 hours of pure fire. Rogan tore apart the myth of Diddy's so-called mentorship programs. He described whiteboards labeled full immersion weekends, jam-packed with exhausting drills, isolation tactics, and tight restrictions that cut Bieber off from his family. This wasn't training, this wasn't mentorship, this was about power, period, Rogan growled. His anger wasn't just at Diddy, it was at an entire culture that allowed men like him to thrive. He reminded listeners of Bieber's later struggles, anxiety, exhaustion, the public breakdowns. Rogan connected the dots, saying these weren't random issues, but scars left behind from his teenage years under Diddy's thumb. That's not just fame pressure, Rogan said with fury. Adki why that's my That's the result of being trapped by someone who thought he could get away with anything because he had money and influence. As Rogan ranted, he made it clear he had no interest in giving Diddy any benefit of the doubt. He spat out the words, "Don't call him a mogul, don't call him a genius, call him what he is, someone who took advantage of a kid for his own gain." His fists clenched as he leaned into the microphone, his face lit with pure outrage.
Oh, how do you not be crazy? And good luck when you're older. You know, Justin Bieber had a post the other day on his Instagram talking about all the drugs that he did when he was younger and how much it fucked him up. And now he's got a relationship with the Lord, and he's got, you know, he's married, and he's trying to be a normal person.
Yeah.
But he's struggling with the fact that he was insanely famous when he was a kid.
Yeah.
What's going on with you guys? Are you working together?
I'm not. I mean, I think that we've become friends in a strange way, you know.
Like Robin Big.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
I'm Big and you're Robin.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, you know, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
We had seen these videos of Justin Bieber being handed over to him at age 15. Great job. And for his weekend with Diddy camp. I mean, we don't know, but it certainly looks like Justin Bieber is still suffering the fallout from whatever happened to him as he was coming up the ranks of the music world. It really doesn't seem worth it. I mean, I'd love to hear more from his camp about what's real, because it's clear he's suffering. We just don't know from what. And what mother out there would give her 15-year-old boy over to a grown man who's in the rap industry for a weekend with Diddy camp without other adult supervision?
By the end of the episode, Rogan's rage had ignited a firestorm. Fans rallied behind Bieber, corporations began cutting ties with Diddy, and the media echoed Rogan's demand for accountability. Enough is enough, Rogan shouted. This industry has protected men like Diddy for decades. It ends now. His voice thundered like a final warning. No more silence, no more excuses, no more hiding. Even after the podcast ended, Rogan's fury carried into interviews, clips, and viral sound bites. His rage wasn't just about Bieber, it was about every young star who had been trapped in the same cycle. He reminded everyone that what Bieber endured could have ended his life and career. If Justin hadn't fought his way through this, we'd be mourning him right now, Rogan said angrily, and that should make every single person furious.
Say this about Justin Bieber. When people hear about him going insane, like, of course he's going insane. You have no idea what it would be like to be him and to be 17 years old. And girls literally trying to break into his house. They're coming down chimneys. They're flying in on parachutes. They're doing anything they can. They just want to be around him. You want him to be normal?
Oh, man, poor guy.
Flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio. And who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover.
Months ago, I was really struggling mentally and emotionally, and just there were so many things that were adding up, and I wasn't able to enjoy any of the things that I own.
That stuff's not gonna matter to you.
None of the actual things did anything because I was so hurt and I was so confused and I was so sick, and there was all these things, and I was like, I can't, there's like, you just can't, like you said, you can't enjoy the actual physical, tangible, like, things.
The you of then was on a path of self-destruction.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
Rogan's fury didn't cool down as the episode went on. It grew hotter. He turned his focus to the culture that allowed Diddy to move unchecked for so long. Think about it, he snapped. How many people saw this? How many managers, lawyers, executives, and so-called friends stood by while a grown man controlled a 15-year-old? You don't get away with this alone. You need enablers, and that's exactly what he had, an entire industry willing to look the other way. He slammed the table again, his voice thundering with rage as he called out the hypocrisy of celebrities who once bragged about Diddy's influence, but were now suddenly silent. Where are they? Where are all those people who called him a legend? You can't hide now. You stood shoulder to shoulder with him, and now the truth is out. Silence is guilt. Rogan then broke down how Diddy's empire was built on this image of being the ultimate gatekeepers. He made young artists feel like they had no choice but to follow him, Rogan barked. If you wanted success, you had to play by his rules. That's not mentorship, that's a monopoly of fear. His anger radiated through every word, painting Diddy not as a mogul, but as a manipulator who thrived on control. The podcast grew even more intense as Rogan compared Bieber's story to the broader pattern of young stars collapsing under pressure. How many times have we seen this? He asked furiously. Young talent chewed up, spit out, left to pick up the pieces, while the people who drain them walk away with the money. He shook his head in disbelief, his voice cracking, not with sadness, but with disgust. We knew something was wrong. We all saw Justin breaking down in public when he was just a kid, and now we know why. And the fact that Diddy was at the center of it makes me sick. Rogan's anger reached a boiling point when he addressed Bieber directly, speaking into the camera with fiery conviction. Justin, you didn't deserve any of this. You didn't deserve to be used as a pawn. You were a kid with talent, and they tried to turn you into a product they could control. You fought your way out, and that makes you stronger than any of them. But I'm still furious that you had to fight at all. By the final hour of the show, Rogan had gone from exposing documents and evidence to issuing a full-on warning. This isn't just about one man. This is about an entire business model that rewards control over compassion. And if we don't tear it down, we'll see another Bieber, another kid trapped in the same nightmare. His voice was a mix of rage and urgency, his message crystal clear. The industry needed to be held accountable, and Diddy needed to face consequences. Rogan's closing words were sharp, cutting, and unforgettable. I don't care how many hits he made. I don't care how much money he has. None of that excuses what he did to Justin Bieber. None of it. If you defend this man after hearing the truth, then you're part of the problem. He leaned into the mic, his tone like a hammer slamming down. Diddy's time is over, and good riddance.